What's up guys, and welcome to this episode of Tech Apprentice. In this episode we are going to check out how to add DVR recording to the Fatshark Teleporter V5. The only reason I'm showing you how to do it on the Fatshark goggles because that's what I have. But the same technique I'm using can be used on every different FPV goggles that are available on the market at the moment. You'll see it's very easy, you don't need much equipment, and yeah, so let's check out how it's going to be done. To make this project, this is what we will need. First of all, we will need the Eachine ProDVR. This is a DVR unit. It's very small and it will fit pretty nice on any goggles that you have, and in our case, the Fatshark Teleporter V5. This thing over here, this is the video in, audio in, and power cable. We will also need a 5-volt regulator because this DVR is only powered with 5 volt, and the battery for the goggles is 7.4 volts, so we need to step that down. So here we have the basic drawings of everything we need. We have the ProDVR over here, which is the DVR unit. We have the goggles, the battery for the goggles, and our 5-volt regulator. Here on the goggles we have right next to the power jack, we have our TRRS connector. This connector is used for video in and out, so we will basically use this port to output the signal to the DVR. First option is going to be to use a TRRS connector and basically connect the video in and the ground from the ProDVR, solder it to a jack, and when you will use the DVR, just plug it in the connector on the side. The option I have chosen is to open up the goggles and wire up the video in directly to the jack and the ground as well. After that, to connect the power, take the 5-volt from the ProDVR, connected to the voltage out to the regulator, and the ground to the ground of the regulator. On the balance port, you have a black wire and you have a red wire. The wire of the balance connector to the voltage in, and the ground is basically connected to the ground of the regulator. And this is the basic wiring of the ProDVR to the goggles. As I said, you could, if you don't want to open up your goggles and solder everything directly on the boards inside the goggles, you could use a jack. Using a small screwdriver, I have already unscrewed the screw that is over here and over here. Now, one. There you go. So I have my 2 screws over here. And to open up the goggles, what I usually do is that I just pull over here, and there you go. And you have a tab over here, and you have 3 tabs in the front. And here you have the processor and everything that will be processing the image and everything. These are actually 2 boards. So you have, so to remove it, you simply pull on it. There you go. So you simply pull, because there is only some pins, some pins over here that will clip directly on that board over here. And this is the board that we are interested in. So we can leave this on the side. And you have a screw in there just over here. that you have to remove the bottom board. And this is the board that we're interested in. As you can see over here, we have the TRRS connector for video in out, and this is the power jack. And over here we have the wiring harness that will be connected to the DVR unit. So this is the video connection, and in the back, just over here, this is the ground connection. That's it. You just solder the wire on there, and I pass the wires on the side over here. And when I'm gonna close back the case, I'll just place it over here. That way, it's gonna be just fine. If you want, if I didn't have a drill at the time, what I would suggest to you is actually drill out a hole in there and route the wires directly through there before soldering them. It's going to be a lot easier and a bit cleaner. So yeah, because now I'm just simply squeezing the wires over here. Alright, so when you have done your soldering job, just screw the board back in. Put the control board on top, making sure that your pins are aligning properly. Alright, so place everything back. Make sure you snap the front first, so basically make sure this is placed first, and after that, when you're placing the front back, just make sure that you are not squeezing any wires in the process, and make sure that these wires are placed properly. There you go. Plug back the battery, and as you can see, the goggles are still working. What I have done, if you have not seen the video about this faceplate, I'll link it, but 3D printed and it's a great deal. Still have not received my fan, but yeah, I made this little control box over here, and this has a 2S battery and a 3S battery connector, because if you didn't know, the Fatshark goggles can use either a 2S or a 3S batteries. And there, it's a simple circuit. Basically, on batteries, you have the balance lead, and if you look at the wires, the first one is always a black wire. Here you always have the first one over here, that is the black wire. This is always the ground. The last wire is going to be the wire that you will want to use to power everything, because it uses all of the cells. So if you wire it over here, it's going to be, well, using the full 2S power. So basically the 7.4 volt. So you have, this is going to be 2S, and this is the 3S. As I said, this connector, this is ground, and this one over here, it's going to be voltage. This is going to be ground, this is going to be V+. So if we, there you go. So how everything is connected in that little box I showed you. Ground is connected to ground. This is supposed to be like this, so it jumps. And voltage connected like this. Our pluses connected together, are ground connected together. The idea behind that is that we're never going to use the 2S and the 3S at the same time. So even if they are connected together, doesn't matter because they're never going to be used together. After that, in my little box, I have my 5-volt regulator, and I have, well, my 2 pins that are ground and voltage out. So voltage is connected there, ground is connected there. After that, ground goes to ground, and this goes here. So basically you have the voltage in of the voltage regulator and the voltage out that goes to the fan. Because if you didn't see, over here I have some pins, and I have put a little pigtail over here, a little small JST connector. This is basically connected directly on these pins. So I have my ground and my voltage connected to my connector over here. This is basically what is in there. It's a small circuit, the two headers, my pins over here, and my wire coming out of there. Okay, now that I have my faceplate back on, how do we attach this little thing to the goggles? Well, there are 2 ways. First one, that doesn't require any additional thing. Plug in the wire before, and you just sandwich it, stick it between the battery and the strap. Holds very tight. I still have access to the buttons, and well, it doesn't look any different, and it's still very practical to use. Second way is my preferred one. We will design a 3D printed case for it. Alright, so now that we have our 3D printed case, this is what it looks like. I'll upload the design on Thingiverse. I have my 2 clips over here. They fit very tight, and you could always glue them, but to be honest, they fit very tight. You just slide the 2 clips on the battery strap, and voila, that's it. You can hook up the wire, and now you have your DVR unit attached to the goggles. Even if you remove the battery or something, well, it's still there. It's just fine. So now I'll show you the result and how this little thing performs. Alright, so that's it for this video. As you've seen, it turned out pretty good. DVR works fairly well. I'm pretty happy for the price I paid for it. Yeah, the only thing I might add in the future is maybe a record button somewhere on top of the goggles, but where it is at the moment, the first button over here, works just fine. So yeah, that's it. If you like this video, please like and comment. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what I do. I do a lot of DIY projects and stuff. I'll do some product review as well, 3D printing and all those things that a bunch of other people do. But still, I have my own touch. I like to do useful mods and stuff. So yeah, please subscribe, like, comment, and if you have any questions, ask in the comment and I'll answer them for sure. Have a good one, folks. See you on the next one.